Icewale, Ed Tunishwi, Icewale, Coquitlam. Hello, my name is Ed, and my traditional name is Coquitlam. Asiam Tasiea, Itanachtan, Imachtan, Amisak, Kwikwetlem, Itanach, Kwikwetlem, honored friends, relatives, and visitors, welcome to the ancestral unceded lands of the Kwikwetlem people. It is a great honor to be here, to be with you, to share in this event, to represent our community peoples here, and here with my colleague and council, Fred Hulbert. It is a great pleasure to be a part of this, to share in the event of the grand opening of the train station here at Coquitlam Central with the Premier and the mayors and councils that are present, all the delegates from different agencies, the media. There's also, I have to make some acknowledgements too to all of the folks who were involved in the construction of this great project. It's going to be a pride and pleasure to be able to see some traffic congestion decongesting a little bit in the area as the Tri-City area here does grow. It's going to be quite a busy place, and it's beautiful to come and see. I'd also like to make acknowledgements to our elders who could not be here to witness such a thing, and for the great Creator to be able to watch over all of our loved ones, that can't be with us here today, as we are here in celebration of a great structure of a SkyTrain. It's a beautiful station. I must make acknowledgements to the artists that were in and around to do the work, acknowledging the master carver, Mark Point, the canoe that's hanging up from the ceiling on this side, and the folks that were involved in the attaching of the logo, and also to the artist Maynard Johnny Jr., who helped us out with some of the artwork that's upstairs in the windows, and another artist that was in on the carving of the translated sign that's just up around the other corner here. So I would like to be able to say thank you very much for this the invitation here to be a part of this, and to be able to help officially welcome this. It's a great honor, and I must say, Isepka Hajka, thank you very much.
I'm Linda Reimer, member of the Legislative Assembly for Anmore, Belcarra, Port Moody, and Coquitlam, and I'm so pleased to be able to serve as your MC for this special announcement to celebrate the opening of the Evergreen Extension. I would first like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories of our Coast Salish people, and I would like to thank the Coquitlam First Nation for hosting us on their ancestral lands. Thank you. We have a lot of very special guests in attendance today, including on the platform our wonderful Premier, Christy Clark. Chief Ed Hall with the Coquitlam First Nation, Councillor Ruimy, and Councillor Fred Hulbert is with us as well. We have Coquitlam-Burke, we have Pitt Meadows Maple Ridge MP, Dan Ruimy. We have TransLink CEO, Kevin Desmond. With us as well is the Honourable Peter Fassbender, Minister of Community, Sport and Cultural Development and Minister responsible for TransLink. We have Richard Stewart, Mayor of Coquitlam. And Mike Clay, Mayor of Port Moody. In addition, I'm so pleased that many of my colleagues could be here today. We have Minister Suzanne Anton, Attorney General and Minister of Justice. We have Mr. Dr. Doug Bain, MLA for Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge. MLA Richard Lee for Burnaby North. We have as well MLA Jodie Wickens, Coquitlam-Burke Mountain. We also have School District 43 Board Chair Judy Shirra, Trustee Barb Hobson, as well as Port Coquitlam Mayor Mr. Greg Moore and Councillor Mike Forrest. I know we have some other council members here as well who will be introduced shortly. I'd also like to welcome former MLA Mr. Ian Black, former MP James Moore, both of whom were great advocates for the Evergreen line when they were in office. So, and Mayor Ralph Drew, Mayor of Belcarra. Thank you. I hope I haven't missed anyone else. Is there anybody else? Thank you so much. Good. We've all been waiting for this day with great anticipation. Starting later this morning, people will be able to ride from Coquitlam through Port Moody into Burnaby and on to downtown Vancouver on the Evergreen Extension. The Evergreen is going to better connect the Tri-Cities communities, and people living here will benefit by shorter, smoother commute times and better access to the places that they want to go. With more on this, it's now my pleasure to welcome to the podium BC Premier Christy Clark.
Thanks, Linda. Well, I know sometimes the opposition likes to criticize me for being too optimistic and too happy. But if today I look very happy, there's a good reason for it. And it's proof that there's good reason for optimism too, because I got elected in this community in 1996. Ralph Drew was still the mayor of Belcarra. Richard Stewart was elected in 2001. Richard Lee was elected in 2001. I look around and I see Mike from, so many of you who are here were here in 1996 when we started fighting for this in this community. And here we are today. And if this is not proof that determination and optimism will ultimately get you to your goal all those years later, I don't know what is. So, Linda Reimer, thank you very much. Mike Clay from Port Moody, Richard Stewart, Greg Moore, great mayors of their communities, our MLAs who are here, Member of Parliament Dan Ruimy as well. You know, we're leading the way in the country right now in British Columbia with the fastest growing economy, the best record in job creation, the lowest unemployment rate, and I know that sometimes it takes the rest of the country a little bit of time to catch up with what's going on west of the Rockies, but they are figuring it out and they are coming. And so last year about 17,000 people made the trek west from elsewhere in Canada, and another 13,000 followed them this year, and that's just over the last 6 months. And we are delighted to welcome so many Canadians as new British Columbians in our province. With the rate that jobs are being created here, we need people to come and join us in working. And over the next 5 years, over a quarter of a million people will come from across Canada. And they will come here to places like Coquitlam, which by the way is growing at almost 10% right now. And as we grow, we need to make sure that we are keeping up in our infrastructure. And when we first started working on this, I remember the folks all said, don't build it, no one will come, the trains will run empty. Well, here we have in these communities foresighted mayors and councils who have worked, and school boards, who have worked so hard in leading the way in building new communities, denser communities, and making sure that the people are here to take advantage of this great new transit extension that we're opening today. And so starting today, the new Evergreen line will get commuters from Coquitlam City Centre to Lowmead Town Centre in about 15 minutes. It's an 11-kilometer extension. It makes our elevated rapid transit system now the longest of anywhere in the world. And CEO of TransLink assures me that our predictions of 70,000 people taking advantage of this every day by 2021 are low. And because when people start to see how they're going to get home faster, they will make sure that, and they see that their travel time is cut by about a half, we're going to see people flocking to not just take this transit, but to become members of these incredible, beautiful communities that are growing here. They're going to get home cleaner and greener, and we're going to reduce emissions by about 18,000 tons by 2021, helping British Columbia meet the goals that we set in the Paris climate talks. This investment allows for greater density, it makes it easier and better for business to earn a living, and as the Lower Mainland continues to grow and the housing market continues to stay hot, this is going to make sure that all of these communities remain a lot more livable. Because denser communities aren't just more affordable, they're also interconnected, they're sustainable, and they're really what we are going to need if we're going to keep this region the best place to live anywhere in the world. And today we are one step closer to that. I would like to say thank you to all the councillors and mayors and local government officials, to all the MLAs, past and present, members of Parliament, past and present, the visionaries who have been a part of making this happen every day. Every day, it's been a lot of work getting here, but finally we are here, and these communities, everyone who lives here, is going to see enormous benefit. We're so glad. Thank you for all of your work. And now I am delighted to introduce the Member of Parliament, one of whom has been fighting for this in Ottawa on behalf of all these communities, Dan Ruimy.
Thank you very much, everybody, for having me here. It's very exciting. Exciting time, isn't it? Beautiful area here.
Great weather.
Well, I just got back from Ottawa at 2 in the morning, so good morning, everybody, and thank you, Premier, for the introduction. I'd first like to start by welcoming members of our provincial and municipal dignitaries in attendance today: Premier Clark, Minister Fassbender, Mayor Stewart, Mayor Clay, and Mr. Desmond. It's a pleasure to be here today to celebrate the official first day of service on the Evergreen Extension. The Evergreen Extension is a great news for everyone in Metro Vancouver, as it links Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam, Port Moody, and Burnaby to the SkyTrain system. This extension provides greater mobility and more choices for residents and visitors to engage with their community while opening up economic and social opportunities and contributing to sustainable neighborhoods. I'm very proud that the Government of Canada has contributed $424 million to this project. We recognize that investing in infrastructure is essential to growing the middle class and equipping municipalities with the building blocks they need to support a high standard of living for Canadians and their families. This is why we are working with the provinces, territories, municipalities, and other countries across the country to design a long-term plan that meets the real needs of all our communities. Last month, Finance Minister Bill Monroe released the Government of Canada's Fall Economic Statement, laying out the fiscal framework of our long-term infrastructure plan, a huge new investment in Canada's future. We are rebuilding Canada for the 21st century through historic funding in infrastructure, including the money committed in Budget 2016. We'll invest over $180 billion over 12 years in public transit, green and social infrastructure, trade and transportation, as well as rural and northern communities. This plan provides unprecedented levels of funding in support of projects across the country. Projects that create long-term economic growth, build inclusive, sustainable communities, and support a low-carbon, green economy. More specifically on public transit, we are investing in infrastructure that gets people to the services and opportunities they need to thrive while reducing traffic congestion and encouraging low-carbon transportation. Together with our partners, we will make transformative investments to build smart, sustainable communities that can meet today's unique challenges and prepare us for a prosperous future for all. To get to this event today, we all had a great ride on the Evergreen line. I could have sworn the Premier was actually driving it.
Well, went fast.
It did. And I'm sure everybody is going to enjoy this as well. Congratulations to all who worked on this project, and a job well done. You have contributed to a safe, efficient, and reliable system for your family, friends, neighbors, and visitors to our community. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to invite Mayor Stewart, City of Coquitlam, to come up to the podium. Thank you.
Well, I'll begin by welcoming you all to Coquitlam. Bienvenue chez nous ici à Coquitlam. Sorry for the Burnaby weather. Before I begin my remarks, I want to acknowledge members of council who joined me here today. Of course, all of council is here, and we're most pleased to introduce Councillor Brent Asmundson, Councillor Craig Hodge, Councillor Dennis Marsden, Councillor Terry O'Neill, Councillor May Reid, Councillor Terry Towner, Councillor Chris Wilson, and Councillor Benita Zerillo. Mayor Clay and I were just remarking that the Tri-Cities mayors, and then of course we're the only Tri-Cities that have 5 mayors, all 3 of the 5 Tri-City mayors are here. Mayor Greg Moore, and Mayor Ralph Drew from Belcarra, and Mayor John McEwen from Anmore is here. He's the tall guy in the right. Yeah, just look way high. And I'm so pleased, of course, that our colleagues from Kwikwetlem have been able to join us at the last train station. And in fact, there is a large image of the arrival of the first train, essentially, in Fort Moody, kind of the last fight image. And I suspect that our Aboriginal communities weren't in the station at that time. It's so nice that these many years later, a week ago, we were able to have a blessing of some of the Aboriginal art here in this station, Aboriginal art that made me proud, the way in which we've embraced our Aboriginal communities, our Indigenous communities, and so thank you very much, Ed and Fred, for coming out today. So to say that I'm excited, it would be an understatement. For me, today's opening of the Evergreen line, it says Evergreen Extension, but I would call it Evergreen Line till the day I die, has been an event 30 years in the making. It's something I've been looking forward to since 1986, when we were, of course, told that Coquitlam was next. I remember I knew that at the time, taking SkyTrain with our new baby to Expo 86 and dreaming of that day when, of course, it would get pushed through to Coquitlam, which was going to be any day then. As luck would have it, of course, Coquitlam was not quite next, but here we are today. We're no longer next, we're now. Admittedly, I have celebrated each project milestone along the way, but for me, it really became real when Mike Clay and I were invited to go into the tunnel. The tunnel boring machine had been stopped for a while because of the soil conditions and the challenges that they were experiencing is the better word. They were experiencing challenges because of the really poor clay in Port Moody. But once it got to Coquitlam, things were going smooth. While we were in there, we got to speak to the Italians, because the TBM was Italian-made. It was Italian-made, and the Italian crew were really challenged by that element of it, and so many components of it. We were really working hard to try to get the machine working, and you could see it in their faces, the stresses, and you could see the relief and the day that TBM finally broke through. And they were joined by their families from Italy that day, and so many of them were just cheering loudly. It was truly a moving moment, and made me realize that the construction of Evergreen Line is truly, to some degree, an international effort, but it made such an impact on our local community with jobs and with, and of course, it's its impact today. I also want to highlight that the Lincoln Station, which was not originally planned as part of this project, came about as a result of a unique public-private partnership that brought together P3 Canada, thank you, James, the pension fund investors that own Coquitlam Centre, and the city of Coquitlam. We co-funded that addition, the Lincoln Station, using an innovative form of bonus density. This additional station was important to the city because of the need to build density. We are actually the first station, the first line in the system where the density was built in large measure before the arrival of SkyTrain. And that's not because we were really smart. We are really smart, but it was because it's been delayed so many times, but you can now see the density in place that is ready to be served by this new line. Visionary, yes. I also want to acknowledge the 7 BC artists who contributed their artwork to the 4 Coquitlam stations through the Evergreen Public Art Project. And finally, I want to acknowledge the many men and women who worked so hard on this project. There's no doubt that the Evergreen Extension will be an amazing community asset, providing new options and new opportunities to Coquitlam residents who travel to Vancouver and other parts of the Lower Mainland for both work and pleasure. I'm excited by the fact that the Evergreen line is also opening up a new world of activities and opportunities for those around Metro Vancouver who can now easily come to Coquitlam to discover what we offer in terms of entertainment, adventure, and learning. This month, for example, one of the largest free public Christmas light displays around the Lafarge Lake. We'd invite folks to come out tonight, take SkyTrain all the way out to the very end and tour Lafarge Lake with your children. Coquitlam is truly a vibrant urban community that has added the benefit of having nature at its doorstep, and the Evergreen Extension makes that accessible to us all. I'm so happy that it's finally here, and I want to thank all those that have played such an important role in bringing it to us. And to help thank, I have brought something for the Premier. It's an Evergreen car pressure. For that new car smell. And now I'll introduce the best mayor of the Tri-Cities. I'll say it because he otherwise would, Mayor Mike Clay.
I don't have any air fresheners for the Premier. I'll just, I don't know, an iPhone 6, can I give you my phone? That's how thankful we are for the Evergreen line. We'll give up just about anything. I wanted to echo Richard in saying thank you on behalf of City Council Port Moody. And I don't know if any of my councillors made it here today or if they're stuck waiting for the train to open so they can get here. But they'll be here in an hour. This is a very big day for us and for the Tri-Cities and for Port Moody. And I often say that we're mimicking the biggest day in Port Moody history was July 4th, 1886, when the first train rolled into Port Moody, and the second biggest day will be at 12 o'clock today when the second biggest train rolls into Port Moody. And it's very exciting. As Richard said, it's opening up so many possibilities for us to move around the Lower Mainland and to get to the airport, to get downtown, just even to move between Port Moody and Coquitlam. And if you're in Coquitlam, you know that you can now come to Port Moody every 3 minutes. You don't have to hang around here any longer than you need to. It's just down that way. It's a great city. It's it is always fun for us because being in the eastern borough of Port Moody that we call Coquitlam, we enjoy it, and we thank Richard and the council here for taking care of it while we're away. I wanted to really thank the people that made this happen. This has been a long project. It's been a tough slog. As Richard said, we had some, the boring machine decided to take a couple naps in Port Moody and regenerate itself. And those were tough days, and there was a lot of public concern and criticism. And the number one thing with the project, and Amanda Farrell's here who ran this project, and the number one thing they did was make sure that everybody was safe and that this tunnel got made and that this line moved forward. And thank you so much. And that's a big group of people doing a whole lot of really cool work. And when we walk through that tunnel and you get the scope of this project and how neat it is, James Moore and Ian Black standing over there for your foresight for making this go forward as your days as MP as MLA, and Linda Reimer and Ron McKinnon now as our MPs and MLAs out here, and Finn Donnelly as our other MP here, really seeing that this had to happen, that we needed this in the Tri-Cities. This is how we're going to move forward to the future and how we're going to keep this region moving and growing. And as the Premier said, the prosperity and keeping the jobs alive and making this region as part of this province and being a really dynamic place to live and grow and play and socialize and do all the things that we can do now and really move about freely, although not free, but move about freely through the region and really take advantage of that. So again, I want to thank, on behalf of our city, the Premier and the Prime Minister and the federal government for your investment in this project. This obviously was very important, wouldn't have moved ahead without federal and provincial funding and getting this project off the ground. And on behalf of all the residents of Port Moody, I want to say to them, thank you for your patience. We know that this was difficult to the residents and we had some tough days. And thank you for keeping your chins up and believing in this and believing in Amanda and her team in getting this done. So I have the thank you. And I have the pleasure then of introducing my new friend at TransLink, Kevin Desmond, the new CEO of TransLink, who is coming to an organization now. We're going to take you, Kevin, from 1 million riders a day to 1,070,000 riders a day. And we couldn't be happier to have you here, so welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Clay, and thanks to everyone for being an exciting day. It's very difficult for me to be speaking after these two mayors. That's a tough act to follow. I don't have nearly the material I need to have. But this is, of course, a really exciting day. Just seeing the enthusiasm of the Premier and everyone up here and everyone in the audience today is incredibly gratifying. So, Premier Clark, fellow speakers and other guests, thank you for being here and helping us opening this very exciting extension to our SkyTrain system. With the addition of these new SkyTrain stations in Port Moody and Coquitlam, 11 kilometers of track, people in the Tri-Cities area will have incredible new transit and mobility and transportation options to get them places faster, more reliably, and more frequently than ever before. Our customers will now have direct rapid transit access from Barge Lake Douglas Station all the way to BCC Clark and into Surrey, very importantly, easy transfer on SkyTrain and into downtown Vancouver. This is a whole new way to get around the region, and as Mayor Stewart pointed out, seeing all these buildings sprouting up even before the system started really does give me that confidence that we're going to see really, really strong ridership on this line right away. People are clamoring for more transit and better options going forward. This is indeed, in my view, a game changer for the region going forward. I'm certainly fortunate as being a newcomer here. I just got here a few months ago, and I get to open up a new rail extension, so how about that? And this is a historic day for TransLink in the region. It's said before, but it bears repeating. Metro Vancouver now has the longest fully automated rapid transit system in the world, and we're very excited. I guess they're going to catch up to us again eventually, but we're going to have to find our way to get to be number one again once they catch us. But for now, we can get to Ripley's Believe It or Not and be in the record book, I guess. We have an integrated system with multiple modes, as you all know: bus, SkyTrain, SeaBus, West Coast Express, and Handy Door service. And a change of this magnitude touches on all of our business aspects at TransLink and, of course, our many customers. And we've been keeping our customers first and foremost throughout the build-up to today's opening day, with getting the information out, making sure people understood how they can use the system once it opens. And we're going to have staff out throughout, starting today, and even through the end of the month, assisting people as they learn to use the new system. To improve connections to SkyTrain, very shortly we'll be making major changes to the bus network as well here in the Northeast sector. In fact, this is the most complicated and largest bus service change in TransLink history, with some 22 routes affected, some 1,300 bus stops and bus stop signs had to be prepared, have to be prepared for the changes. All these changes take place in about 2 weeks on December 19th. So we're gearing up and making sure everyone understands how to use the reoriented network. And that reoriented network is meant to get people to these stations so that they can be on their way in a faster, more reliable way than they have in the past. You have to thank a lot of people, of course, for this. So the first people I want to thank are all the employees of TransLink who worked so hard to get us to this day and that will continue to operate the service through across our employees of SkyTrain. You can see all the great, there they are, on cue. Here to make sure the system remains safe and reliable every day. Our great employees of Coast Mountain Bus Company and the Transit Police, and of course all the folks at TransLink who helped make this happen. I've got to also thank Amanda Farrell and her great crew in the province to manage this system. I said to Amanda a number of months ago, I said, Amanda, I can't wait for you to turn over the keys to Vivian King. To get us started. So all the work that you did, and all the contractors are here, and all the folks who got this project done. Thank you and congratulations. And of course, we have to thank our partners with the Government of Canada that provided a huge amount of financial resource to make this happen. Clearly the province of British Columbia. It always takes partnerships. You can't do these things. You can't build infrastructure. You can't build and make these advancements without intense partnerships. So that support, that collaboration, this is a great example of that, and of course we have more examples to come. I want to also recognize a very special person who is here today, Marion Harmer. Marion, some of you may not know, but Marion was the lucky winner of the 6-week-long naming contest in 2005 that named the Evergreen Extension. It was a light rail line at the time, but she stuck with us, and 11 years later, the Evergreen connection is this extension for the region, for TransLink and the people of the lower mainland. Not only are we opening this today, but there's a lot of momentum. Just last week, the Mayor's Council and the Board of TransLink approved Phase 1 of a desperately needed investment plan to get service on the road right away and to begin and to continue the progress towards the rapid transit extensions. That was a momentous occasion last week, just as today's opening is a momentous occasion. Phase 1 of that 10-year vision will bring noticeable improvements to the transit system as early as January 16th. As we add additional service on the SkyTrain system, Expo Millennium Line, and the Canada Line, add service on our C-Bus service. And then again, in April, we're going to start rolling out a repeated phase of additional bus service throughout the region. These improvements, this addition to the transit system is desperately needed. And we look forward to the continued partnership with the federal government, with the provincial government to make these investments happen going forward. Evergreen means go, so go wherever you want to go on our system in this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you everybody for joining us here today to celebrate the opening day of the Evergreen Extension. I too would like to thank Amanda Farrell. It's been wonderful working with her since I was elected in 2013 as she solved the issues that some of my constituents had in an absolutely wonderful community building way. So thank you, Amanda. As a resident of this community, I understand how important the Evergreen will be to meet our population growth and to connect the Tri-Cities community to our Metro Vancouver transit network. I would like to ask our guest speakers now to please step forward in front of the podium together so that we can cut the ribbon and open the Evergreen Extension formally.